We're going to talk about the push-up today as our exercise of the week. This is one of the most botched exercises that we see in the gym and one of the most fundamental upper body and core exercises that we actually use. So the push-up is not only a strength building exercise here, but we actually use it as a core test to really see if you can keep the connection between the lower body and the upper body as you're going through that exercise. And so we use this kind of as a predictor for how well you can brace that core against heavy loads when we go to deadlift, when we're squatting. And so people who are insufficient here really need to spend a lot of time getting a good push-up and learning how to integrate the upper and lower bodies together when they're producing some force from the upper body. So there's a couple cues I want to take you guys through. Number one, the hands need to be active with the floor. Too many people set up in the push-up and their hands are simply two pegs that they set on the ground that they're producing force from. And really what we want to do is create some torque or some force through your upper body. And so one of the cues that I like is to spread the floor with your hands. So when you're down here, and I have a couple mats here, what I'm going to try to do is actually push these mats apart as I'm going through this push-up. And that's going to do a couple things for me. Number one, too many people get their elbows high and wide, okay? And that's just a lot of torque on the shoulder joint as you're going through the push-up, especially if you're going for multiple reps. Some people will bring it in really close where the elbows are tight to the body, and it leads to this kind of anteriorly tilted or forward scapula. And we get a lot of stress on the front side of that capsule with the head of the humerus really just gnawing away at the shoulder capsule there. So by pushing the floor apart, we're going to be able to get a nice 45-degree angle where we can get the head of the humerus tracking back while moving our shoulder blades around the rib cage. So one of the important things in the push-up is the ability to get that glide of your scapula around the rib cage. So when you're pushing the floor, you're going to see that on the way down, the elbows will track at about 45 degrees and the shoulders will come around your rib cage, and on the way up, they'll help move around your rib cage in the opposite direction. Second thing is chest before chin. So too many people will go into a forward head posture or drop their head right away as they're going through the push-up. And what we want to do is establish that nice long core, and as we're spreading the floor, we're going to think chest before chin so that we're not jutting forward. A lot of times, the body will follow the eyes. So when the head drops out, we see some compensation in the upper back by creating more rounding and a little bit more sagging in the lower part of the lumbar. So keeping all this tight will allow for a nice clean push-up. And the last piece, we want to make sure that you push all the way up. So too many people stop this short and they don't get enough scapular protraction or the shoulder blades moving around the rib cage in the opposite direction. We don't want to go into any kind of rounding of your back, but we do want to make sure that you are doing a full push-up versus that. So that little plus at the end, and it doesn't have to be exaggerated as you would see in a push-up plus, but we do want to see you push all the way up so that you can help recruit a little bit more serratus. If you're strong enough, elevating your feet is going to get more serratus activation. This is a very important shoulder stabilizer for helping you guys reach overhead without a lot of clicking and popping. So these are your cues for the push-up, our exercise of the week. Make sure you dominate it.